Hello you beautiful creamers. The first 5 minutes of the podcast will have no swears. The boys are attempting to fool the YouTube algorithm. It will seem censored at first, but not to fret. It's just for the first few minutes you bitch-ass, stupid motherfuckers. Enjoyed the show.
Alright. Snappity-doo-dah. Snappity day.
3 snaps for you, baby.
Rock and roll.
That's 4 snaps for you, baby.
It's Sunday again.
Oh, yeah.
It's Sunday, bitch. Yeah.
Getting that cream.
I want the cream. Give daddy that cream.
Getting that cream. Getting that cream.
Brace yourself for the cream.
All right, we're rolling. Want me to jump into this bowl of cream?
Yeah, dude, get the spoons out. Let's go.
All right. Hey, friends, and welcome to yet another freaking episode of CPS. My name is Josh, and with me, as always, is my good friend Eric. Eric, how are you doing this weekend, buddy?
I'm doing excellent, man. I had no plans, and I'm just riding the wave, man. I love it.
That's good. That's good.
What about you, dude?
Man, I don't know what's going on. My brain is lagging today, and I just had a coffee and a Red Bull. You know what it might be? I haven't had any
Water?
nicotine gum. No. I have plenty of water. Water? No, I'm good. Water. Yeah, coming off a pretty good weekend here down in Charlotte.
You catch any of that WrestleMania action, dude?
No.
No, that's yesterday and today. But yeah, there's I don't really watch WWE anymore, but there's some cool stuff. I more or less followed up on Instagram and talked to my dad about it afterwards. That's all I need to do.
Yeah, it was never my thing, man. I was into it for like 2 weeks, like when I was really young, and that's it. But I never really, nobody in my family watched it or whatever, so.
Yeah, I'm more into like the history and kind of like how things got to where they are. And I was like a big like ECW, so like the guys with the barbed wire baseball bats and
Yeah.
death matches and shit. So that's more what I was into.
I mean, I understand that these guys are hopped up on all sorts of hormones and they're jacked out of their mind and they get the shit beat out of them, But
Yeah.
And I know it is legitimately like they do take some serious damage. Like what was that guy? The Undertaker's like I broke both his eye sockets or whatever they were.
I mean, all those guys, if they're like, if they make it to 50 or 60 and they're still wrestling, and like those guys just like rally up freaking injuries, dude. Like, I remember, I read a Mick Foley, so Mankind and Dude Love and Cactus Jack, he was all Mick Foley, and he was the one that got thrown off the top of the Hell in a Cell. Like, so when people think professional wrestling and they don't know any of the wrestlers, they'll be like, oh yeah, like that guy that got thrown off the top of the cell. Like that's the Mick Foley, and he's I remember I saw a chart or like a graph. So it was like him standing there, and then they pointed out all the injuries he's had over his career, and it's just like it's baffling, dude. It's like holy shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they go through. They get the hell beat out of them for forever, and then once in a while you get one of them that like moves out of wrestling, and like The Rock, for example.
Yeah.
Like he's doing good. I mean, eventually his body's gonna break down. He's too big. Like he's been jacked for 3 decades, 4 decades. I mean, he's been jacked his whole life, but he's been really big for a long time. Like that'll put a strain. People don't realize your heart doesn't know the difference between muscle and fat. If you're too big, you're too big of a person, And then he's got to be on. I mean, what is The Rock? How old is he now? Like 50 something? He's gotta be, right?
I think he turns 50 this year. I'm not sure, but I know he's pretty close to 50. But yeah, so, I mean, it's like you were saying, dude. Like if you're 300 pounds and jacked or 300 pounds and fat, your heart is. I mean, it's not working the same, but to the extent like that's still handling that body. Because I mean, I think we've talked about it on here too. Of you don't make it to the end of your life if you're fat, but like if you're a smoker and you're skinny, like you have a much better chance of like living longer. Right. Like you don't have the longevity of like people over. Say relatively like 250 pounds don't really like make it past like 70 or 80,
Yeah, when's the last time you saw like a really, really old like 80s and 90s person that's really fat?
Yeah, they don't exist.
Rare. Yeah, they don't exist. Yeah, they don't make it that long.
Well, because you get weaker and your body starts shutting down, your immune system isn't as well, and it's like if you're fat and like you're not taking care of yourself, like you're not gonna make it, dude.
No, fuck that shit.
We made it. We hit the 5-minute mark, you fucking cunts.
You asshole.
You know, they have all these longevity studies. Like, I'm pretty sure the less you eat and the less you weigh, the longer you live in general. Like, if you eat barely enough to survive, there's like the oldest lady in the world, whatever, that she ate 2 eggs a day her whole life, and that's it. She ended up being like 115 years old. Something about digesting food, like, takes time off your life. I don't know what it is.
Meanwhile, I've eaten more in the last 7 days than she has in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Take that. Where was she? Was she from, like one of those Asian countries or something?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Over there
Don't
where you
worry.
can survive off 2 eggs and just sit in your house all day in fucking 120 degree heat and just think about the life on the other side of the village.
Think about the evils of capitalism and be thankful for your dirt hut eating your 2 eggs a day.
You're just sitting there hawking loogies every like 45 seconds in a giant brass hat.
Didn't make any sense. But yeah, get back to the wrestling thing, dude. I like I was saying, I do respect those guys, and I do know that they're athletes. I mean, they're on a lot of shit, but I just could never get past the fact that it's all like planned out and fake, like the storyline. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, I mean, it's entertainment, damn man. So like, it's like obviously there's a competitive level to it, but the competitiveness goes into the performance. You know, it's the same as if you're going to watch like a play or watch a movie. It's all designed in a certain way, because if it was randomized, it wouldn't be fun. But I mean, that even gets into the whole, you know, there's certain things that happen in professional sports where you're like, yeah, I don't know if I would have made that call, or, you know, they kind of guide it in, like down a certain path, because they're like, oh, well, shit, if it's the Bills Bengals in the playoffs, then that's the game that was canceled in the regular season due to the guy dying on the field. And it's like they shifted a certain way so things happen. But I don't know.
You think so?
I believe in coincidence and all that other shit, but I think things are guided in a certain direction. I mean, people are like, oh, imagine if it was these two teams or whatever. And it's like,
yeah. I mean, it's definitely in the best interest of the NFL for, you know, how much more money do they make if 2 teams in the Super Bowl that people actually like and have a relatively large fan base behind, you know?
Yeah.
They probably make significantly more money. I know most people are going to watch the Super Bowl anyways, but then like even in the NBA, like is it the NBA final or is it the NBA finals? I always get them in hockey confused which one it's called.
It's the finals.
The
Yeah,
finals.
because then the NCAA is like the Final Four. And
Yeah, but then I think NHL calls it the final, even though it's a series too, but they call it the final. I don't know.
yeah, no, it's the NBA finals. Yeah.
But they always seem to go to 7 games in the finals. You notice that?
Isn't that silly? Yeah, it's. I mean, even the in the NBA, like back when it
When's
was
the last 4 and out?
back when it was like the. I mean, every year it usually makes it to at least game 6 or 7. But I mean, think about the millions of dollars that they make, like pushing it that extra game.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. The NBA wants a fucking game 7. You kidding me? Plus, it's like 3 versus 3. Like the stakes are higher. It's more interesting of a game. I mean, if it's 3-0, then I think less people are going to watch, even though it might be the game-winning game. But
Yeah.
if it's a tied-up game 7 game, dude, if they can milk an extra 3 games out of the finals, like, come on, dude. Think about how much more money they make. They double their revenue for the last, you know what I mean? And
it's not like you're doubling like some chump change. Like you're doubling like a decent amount of, people are. I mean, it's another 3 weeks of the year, dude. You know?
yeah.
Or
Huge.
no, I guess NBA would be like a week, but
Right. But yeah, it's another 3 games. It's another week. But even the amount of more merchandise they must sell in that last week too. You know, it's everything.
yeah.
But yeah.
But just jumping back to the WWE thing, I mean, these guys, at least in WWE, because it's a little different from company to company, but a lot of the times, so say Sunday to Sunday, so 7 days, these guys are wrestling 4 or 5 times a week. You know, they're only on TV once,
Right.
but I mean, they're doing house shows. So you think about it. So say you wrestle 5 times a year or 5 times a week, every week, minus the last 2 weeks. So that's 5 times 50 weeks. So
250.
2,500, no, 250. Yeah, that's awful
Yeah.
math. 250 matches a year.
Right.
You know, compare that and say you're like, all right, let's knock off 50 matches off of that just to make it more realistic. 200 matches a year.
Yeah.
The NBA season is like 160 games, and that's a lot less physical than a fucking wrestling match. The NFL, these guys, practice and they do all this and that, but they're really getting hit,
Once a week.
50 days. It's not like they're I mean, they get a lot more abuse and shit, but I mean, some of these more physical, like professional wrestlers really,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
The fact that Ric Flair is still alive blows my freaking mind, dude.
Yeah.
No way. It's like how does he survive? Like even just the way he lived and like his lifestyle and shit. Like the fact that he's I don't know if he's 70 or 80, but he looks like he should have died about 30 years ago. And he's just praying to the right God, apparently. I don't know what his freaking secret is. I mean, he's still deadlifting like 400 pounds, dude. He's like, he looks like my grandpa before he passed away. And he's like just lifting crazy weight. And it's like, Jesus. And he's like in rap music videos. And he seems like the kind of guy that would have like a weed strain come out named after him. Like he's just one of these like iconic figures from Wheeling and Dealing.
Limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun. Right? That's him? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That Ric Flair drip, baby.
Yeah, that's a real thing. I just heard that in a new song that I heard the other day. They said something about the Ric Flair drip, and it's like, I don't even know who this is singing.
They've been saying that for decades.
Yeah. So,
dude, what about, I was going to say, did you hear about the new baseball rule since we're talking about sports?
Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, the pitching rule?
Yeah.
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 What about it?
Well, what do you think about it? I think it's going to make the game better. I mean, I think it's boring as shit now.
I mean, isn't it just speeding along the pitch process? So instead of 3-hour games, you have 2-hour games?
Yeah, they have like 15 seconds, though, to throw a pitch. They're putting a clock on it. So
yeah, but that's weird, though, because like imagine you're growing up and you never have that, and then you make it to the MLB, and all of a sudden you've got 15 seconds, whereas before you had a minute. Like that's
right.
Like that's the same. I mean, to compare it to like lifting weights, manage your whole life where you're. I mean, what I do is I count to 60 between sets, and imagine I only waited 15 seconds. That's like gonna really kind of change up how you perform, dude.
Well, the big thing is these guys that are at bat and they have to step out of the batter's box every time they swing and do like their little fuck routine where they take their gloves on and off and slap their ass and do the old neck twist 4 times and then tap their bat on their heels and then walk back in and take another swing. Like they're going to have to get rid of all that, you know? So it's going to fuck with people psychologically too. A lot of that's OCD stuff, I think, for batters. Because they've been doing it their entire career, and now they have to just stand in the batter's box.
So do they have the, are they implementing this rule because of the pitchers are taking too long, or because these dudes are twisted in their neck too many freaking times?
I think probably both. Because if you watch a baseball game, bros, a guy will be at bat sometimes for what seems like 10 minutes. It's crazy. And it's a slow-paced game anyways, but...
You know what happened? I bet the guy that like is in charge of making these decisions, he's just like sitting in his freaking like his bedroom. He's been awake for 26 hours. He's like, all right, how do we improve the game of baseball? And he's just sitting there like with his laptop on his stomach, and he's just like flips out, throws it across the room. It shatters. He's like, fuck, this is so boring. We need to speed this along. And he's like, oh, that's my, okay, we'll speed it along. But he's just some guy just snaps and just destroys his shit. And he's like, this is just so goddamn boring. We need to do something about this.
I get it, man. A lot of people like baseball. Throw it on in the background sometimes. I guess it's cool, but it is boring to watch, man. Even when you're there in person, like, I don't know. I guess it's not my thing. I played baseball, too, for years, but even playing it, I was bored half the time, you know?
Yeah, I mean, even I've had the conversation with people about how I can't watch baseball, but going to the games are fun. But now I think I've gone to enough games as a not fan to realize it's really not that fun. Like why the hell would I be like, oh, do you want to go to the Red Sox game? And somebody like, oh yeah, I'd be so down. And I'd be thinking like, I'm not, I don't know probably 2 players, and even those would be random guesses. Like I don't even give a shit. But it's the same thing like going to a hockey game. Like I would kind of not care, but hockey is like so much more violent and like such like faster pace that I could get behind that.
Yeah, there's fights. It's nonstop. Yeah. Ground and pound, baby. Throw the gloves. I love hockey games. Hockey games are fun. I went to a Bruins game and ended in like a double overtime shootout or whatever the fuck. It was great.
Yo, did you back in high school, back when me and Johnny Hughes were going to the PA hockey games, did you ever go to like any of those when we were doing the ground and pound shit?
I think I went to like one, and John was just screaming ground and pound the whole time.
So I'm just gonna describe to the creamers out there. So me and our buddy Johnny Hughes, we'd go to hockey games for the high school, and we had such a small team that we would actually combine. What was it, Campbell? I think I don't even know where that is, but we would make signs with spray paint and cardboard that said ground and pound because we just wanted fights, and obviously they would fight in high school, and it was just super obnoxious. But I remember maybe I don't know if you were there for this, but we were playing hockey out in the parking lot, and we had like a grill going, and I had my car like on with the lights shining so we could play in the dark and shit, and it was like a good time, but. I remember it was a snowstorm during all this shit, but I remember towards the end of that, we went and watched the game. Then everybody left, and I killed my car battery because I just left the headlights on and the fucking engine off like a dumbass.
You didn't turn on the car to recharge it?
I didn't turn on. I left the high beams on until the car totally died, and then I was like, all right, fuck it. And we went in and watched the game, and we got destroyed like 8-0 or something because that's just the way the team was.
Yeah.
And then I'm calling AAA off somebody else's cell phone because I didn't have a cell phone at the time. And
oh my God.
And they show up and they give me a jump. But we were driving back when I drove that blue HHR. Remember that fucking thing?
Yeah, that thing looked like Mickey Mouse's cock. That was a retarded looking car.
Yeah. So basically they jumped it the wrong way and they blew the power steering. So after they basically kickstarted the car, I had to drive home with no power steering in a snowstorm, and it was like, it was absolutely awful, dude.
That's
it was
rough.
horrendous. But that was ground and pound, man. That was back in the day, dude. We got so fucking rowdy. We'd show up with like face paint and like it was just so stupid, just so stuped.
It's just high school kid stuff, you know.
I mean, we did some stupid shit back in the day.
Kids, I have a hard time. I mean, we have a lot of kids in the neighborhood we live in. A lot of them are in high school or even like middle school, and they'll be walking around the neighborhood because we are like live in this gated community. Doesn't have a gate. I mean, you've been here, you know.
Yeah.
But they have like this kind of, because the school is right next door to the community. So they almost live like this sheltered life where they're just in this community and they have their own gym and like their own pool. And then right next door is their school. And then down the street is a grocery store. I mean, we're far enough from Charlotte. These kids aren't really driving into Charlotte, I don't think. So there's these kids walk around the neighborhood, dude. They've been like jumping in front of my car and stuff. Like this kid the other day was wearing a full red jumpsuit. This kid had to have been like 12 years old. Him and his buddies were wearing red, like, I guess they're jumpsuits, a tracksuit. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's dressed like a, middle-aged Mexican dude. He jumps in front of my car and starts doing like the thing where he's like humping the air. Like hitting his thighs with his, and then he's like pointing at me and shooting his guns, like his finger guns. And then he like slaps 5 with his friends, and they're like, "Haha, yeah!" And then they like walk away. I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" And then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, "This is annoying as shit." I'm just trying to go to the gym, but then I'm like, that kid is pretty cool though. You know?
I remember after 2-a-days, me and Jimbo were waiting to get picked up, and. Or I don't remember what we were doing, but I remember one of the girls who we went to high school with was leaving, and we pretended that there was like a rope over like the parking lot. So as she like as she approached us, me and Jimbo both like stood up, and we pretended to like have a taut rope in between us. She slams on her brakes. She goes, "What the fuck?" But it's like back in the day, that's the funniest shit. Like I remember football practice, Aaron Cassidy picked up a pine cone, and he would like jump and run and spike it off the ground and go bubble shield like off Halo 3. It's like, dude, that was just the funnest shit. Like I don't know, just being silly, dude. Like, I hope I never lose that aspect of just being totally obnoxious. Because even today, I woke up and I had a chip on my shoulder, dude. I'm just like so happy and just so obnoxious. But I think that's also because I passed out watching a shitty movie last night. My brain was allowed to reset.
Yeah, dude. That's what Sundays are for. Like, a lot of people go to church and worship the Lord for an hour. We come and we talk about dicks and farts for an hour once a week and praise the cream gods, you know? So... Well, what movie did you watch?
Oh, I watched it was Nope with Jordan Peele.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We put that on. That was like a 2-hour movie, and it's just like the guy is just so, I don't know if it's the character or whatever, but he just like has no personality behind like his acting. And I'm just watching this, and it's like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, dude, this is so fucking boring. And I just passed out. Yeah. I was like, this is like, what's the point?
Did you get to the end?
No, I think we still have another like 45 minutes left of it, dude. But it's like,
okay,
I was not about it last night.
It was the premise of that movie was cool. It could have been a lot better, I think, but the premise is cool. And I lived in California for a little while, so I kind of recognized like I had to drive up to northern, like north of LA and everything, kind of where they live.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it does look like that up there, and it is creepy like that. I could see. The whole alien thing's cool, but yeah, it could have been a better movie.
I don't even think I got to that part. I mean, I knew there was aliens in it just from like hearing about it, but yeah, I didn't even get to the point where I saw any aliens. So I guess I didn't make it very far at all.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I won't tell you any more about it in case you want to finish it, but I'd give it a. I watched The Whale last week.
Yeah, what'd you think of that,
dude? Well, first of all, I don't know if there's something wrong with our TV or what, but that shit was dark. Couldn't even see anything. So. I look it up. I Google it. I'm like, why is The Whale so dark on streaming? And there's this whole Reddit thread about people that are like, I can't see. I need to adjust like my TV. It's so dark on Amazon. So it's not just me. Maybe it's just Samsung TVs or whatever format they did. Completely dark room. Shut every light off in the house. Turn the brightness on my TV all the way up, and I could still barely see it. It was crazy. But then it was really good. It was really good. There's a couple times where I was, I thought it was kind of silly, but at the end, dude, I was crying like a bitch. For sure.
I mean, even
it made me cry.
I just typed in The Whale on YouTube, and there would be, because it's a play and there's like a whole thing, so you can go on YouTube and watch certain scenes. I mean, you can watch the whole thing hypothetically, but watching like certain scenes with like the young boy that comes in, like his daughter and his caretaker, and just like watching those same scenes, seeing the same dialogue, it's like, dude, this is so cool. It's like it's all performance, I mean, the biggest changes were that he's an online teacher, because that's very relevant today, but like at the time it was just, he was like an English teacher that he would like grade essays, and that was his job. So basically he did the same thing, but now they just had the technology 2023 aspect to it. So
how can you be a stay-at-home English teacher before Zoom? That doesn't even make sense. What are you like?
I don't know,
sending
man.
letters to your classroom? It doesn't even, I don't get that. Maybe he was like a teacher's helper and just graded stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, he just like threw like a little bit of fried chicken. That guy. What the hell was that?
Sneeze. Sorry.
Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, so I on Friday I had a video come out for Twisted Metal 4, so I was playing that a little bit and I put out some shit, and I was thinking, so for that game to be fun, I had to put in cheat codes like in the main menu and then like in the in-game menu. Yeah. I was thinking, do modern, because I don't even play that many video games now, do modern games have cheat codes? Like they must, but I have no idea.
I don't think so, dude. I don't think so. Yeah. I don't know. I think you can change that. That's a good question. Like, I know for a while it was what's it called? God mode, where you could not take any damage type thing. But yeah, I've played quite a few video games the past few years too. I don't think they have cheat codes anymore, dude. Especially because the majority of games are pretty much online games, so that wouldn't make much sense. But yeah, that's a good question. Like, does the new God of War have a cheat code? Yeah. I
mean, even like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for PS2, I can probably be on my deathbed, and if somebody were to hand me a controller, I could punch in the 3 different ammo, because there's 3 different sets of ammo, or 3 different sets of guns you could get, and I could probably do each of those like the day I'm about to die. And I did that when I was like 13 years old.
Yeah, it's like embedded in the old noggin there. But yeah, cheat codes were cool. I never really got into cheat codes, man. I remember I had this is before you could even really Google things. I bought it at the book fair at school. Remember the book fair? Man, you go to fucking
I know. The books with they would have all the consoles and all the games, and you would look up. Yep,
cheat codes.
I have several of those at my parents' house. I would buy those every year, dude.
Yeah, the cheat code book. Those are the shit. Yep. I would go to school with fucking $10 cash in my pocket, walk into that book fair, balling like a badass, fucking leave with a Ferrari poster and a comic book, It was the shit.
I think the only things I ever bought at a bookstore was probably those cheat code books and maybe like a Captain Underpants book, like in elementary school. Those are the only things I would read.
Captain Underpants was the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they changed it to Dog Man. The same guy created a whole new series called Dog Man or something.
Well, he had a Super Diaper Baby. That was like towards the end of elementary school. But yeah, dude, all the Captain Underpants. I mean, I probably have a majority of those somewhere. I don't know if those are worth any money now, but
remember
probably not.
In the middle of the book, they would have 2 pages where you would have to flip it really fast to make it look animated.
And it looked like they're fighting or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I would just be sitting there fucking in silent reading, fucking flipping that page back and forth, trying to make it look like Captain Underpants is punching somebody in the face.
But the thing was, for me, like, they didn't, I mean, I was not big into reading as a kid, and those were literally the only things I would read at the time. But that eventually got me into comic books, because comic books were the same way, and that was really just a comic book itself, kind of, with more of a story,
I mean, there's some good comics out there.
Like the way it was structured and shit.
I would say the comic books are definitely better books than Captain Underpants. Captain Underpants is pretty dumb.
Oh no, 100%. No, but I'm saying like the way it was presented was like a comic book, and that kind of like got me
Oh,
from,
yeah.
all right, I'm not reading anything to, all right, I'm reading Captain Underpants to, I'm reading Spider-Man. Like that was my progression.
Right. I never got into big into comics, but I understand that they're pretty cool, like the animations and everything. But speaking of comics, dude, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse 2 is coming out soon. Did you see the first one?
I don't think so.
Oh man, we're going full nerd this episode. I did. I liked it. Thought it was good.
Yo, if you want to go full nerd, let's talk about the 6-episode season of South Park. Let's get it out. I watched the whole thing this weekend.
Oh, you did?
Dude.
Damn.
I did. So I did see. So I did watch Cupid Yay, that one with like Tolkien and Kyle doing the TikToks and shit with the filters. That was
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw that like I guess when the season first came out, but all the other ones I had not seen until this weekend.
Cupid Yay was all right. It wasn't the best episode. It was kind of funny, but
yeah, I I liked it at the end when Cupid Yay is like in the hallway of the school and Cartman grabs him and he like shoves his fucking medication pill in his mouth.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it is
Jesus,
funny,
dude.
yeah, because Kanye needs to take his meds is the whole thing. Which maybe he did start taking them, and he watched a little, 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
But yeah, comedy's medicine, baby.
Yeah, and then the one where the prince is like, I love how they make the prince and princess. I don't know if she's a princess, but like the people from the UK
Duchess. She was a duchess.
So they make them look Canadian, but they're like
Yeah.
live across the street from Kyle, and they're just like the worst fucking people in the world. They're like setting off fireworks, and they have like just obnoxious
They're
shit,
chanting, "We need our privacy. We want our privacy." I think they did make them Canadian for like so they can't be sued, sort of thing.
dude. Yeah.
Because they don't want to deal with it. So they didn't even say their names. They just said like the whatever. And then the Queen was the Queen of Canada, wasn't the Queen of England. Yeah.
Didn't they carry her like through like a church, like dead in her throne a couple times or something? They kept showing that like over and over again.
Yeah. And it's Kyle's little brother is crying because he's Canadian or whatever.
Yeah.
The Queen is dead. Yeah. And it shows her fucking mangled corpse like in a coffin. It's horrible. Yeah. That was hilarious. And they're both chanting, "We need our prophecy. We need our," and they're lighting off fireworks and having parades and shit. Yeah, that was funny. That was a good episode. It's more funny like
Yeah.
the thing about South Park, what I noticed is I kind of missed like the old episodes where it's not necessarily tied to current events that are going on because they could just do anything random that they want. But the past few years, they try and do like what's happening right now, which I respect and everything. And they always come up with a funny premise. Like the premise is, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry want their privacy because they said something like that. Meanwhile, they have a Netflix show and they're writing books and shit.
Yeah.
And they're complaining about all the attention they get, it's a funny premise, but it's not as funny as an episode. You know what I mean?
Well, even like because the next one up was the Japanese toilets, and I don't know if that's a current issue or not, but dude,
No, see,
some
that's
of
a
that,
random
like,
thing. That's hilarious.
Yeah, because like walking up to the toilet and like a little soundtrack comes on, like, dude, I think we should get into the market. Like Cream Pie Sunday will provide music for toilets or something like super like Lord of the Rings meets like Oscar Mayer, like something like that, like just something totally obnoxious. But yeah, dude, that I love how they get into the whole thing about how toilet paper isn't needed and this and that and blah blah blah. And then at the end, Randy comes up and he goes, "Nope, we're sorry. Toilet paper is the greatest thing ever invented." Like, because he's not trying to get assassinated.
It's pretty funny. See, that's like a random thing that's not a current event issue that they did. That's hilarious because it's like a dig at toilet paper companies.
Yeah.
And then Randy's proctologist comes in. And like, "Hey, I'm here to help you with your hemorrhoids." He's like, "Oh, actually, I don't think I need you anymore since I'm not smearing shit all over my ass anymore since I got this Japanese toilet." And the proctologist gets pissed and starts to like try to destroy the toilet. Yeah, "I didn't realize how much money you're making off my asshole." This whole thing. And and then the big toilet paper. The industry tries to assassinate him because he's vouching for Japanese toilets. It is kind of crazy, and it does bring up a good issue. Like Procter and Gamble and these other giant companies that make toilet paper and sell a shitload of toilet paper, when we could just have bidets in our house, why are we smearing shit all over our ass? It's pretty gross.
Yeah,
I
don't know, man.
Like, how much
might,
does a bidet cost off of Amazon? Like a do-it-yourself, attach it to your toilet. It's got to be like what, $50, $100?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then how much money do you spend on toilet paper a year?
I mean, you would think it would pay for itself, like almost not instantly, but within a couple months.
Right. So why are we still using toilet paper?
So you can get a little one that you can clip onto their toilet seat for $40 on Amazon.
You just look?
I just looked. I got the technology in my hand, baby.
That's crazy. Like, why I'm about to do that for all our toilets.
I mean,
it's got to be so much
what I'm
cleaner.
looking at is $60. This is really nice. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you just squirt water at your asshole?
Yeah. Dude, you know what's funny? I think we talked about this in a podcast already, and I asked you what your thoughts on bidets are, because I was thinking about getting one, and now this come full circle.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm thinking, why wouldn't you try it for $40 and then you're not, I don't know. We'll see. I feel like it's a rich person thing, but you really don't have to be a rich person to have a wet asshole. You know, I think that's what we're learning here.
I think South Park brings up an excellent point. They're not like a luxury item anymore. Like, what are we, in the 1800s, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But moving right along, the next one, the shaman GBT, the chat GBT with South Park.
January 6th.
No, because I wrote shaman next to it. So like that whole episode where like Stan is texting Wendy and he literally has no idea what he's actually saying to her. He's just using chat GBT to communicate. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the episode, the school is like aware that kids are using chat GBT, so they bring the shaman in with like the little hawk. And it's just like he looks like a homeless guy that lives down the street here, and he's like I am here to determine who's been using chat GBT, and it's like he looks like a fucking witch doctor. Like, dude, that is such like
that's hilarious,
brilliant writing, dude.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, that was a good episode.
The very end, you could tell they actually just typed that in the chat GBT, and then they just like made it deliberately like that, which is that was pretty cool. How they kind of like actually put the whole thing in there.
Yeah. And then it shows exactly what Stan is typing or whatever.
Yeah.
And then if you actually type that into Chat GPT, like do this in the style of South Park, it probably would come up with that exact ending, you know, or something similar to it. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then
Chat GPT, dude.
That brings me to my favorite one was the creamy day that where Butters and Cartman open up the hot dog shop and they're both serving ice cream and shit. That was pretty good, but
Dick and Bouse.
That was Dick and Bouse. I love how they kind of sneak shit in there, because when Cartman starts having the epiphany of opening the hot dog shop and it's like hot dogs on buns and ketchup and all this like cool images, and all of a sudden did you notice the last shot? It was a bunch of wooden penises on a table, and the camera is just like slowly panning for like a second and a half, and then it goes to the next thing, and it's like, dude, they always have thrown shit like this in South Park, and I don't know how many people actually notice it, you know?
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, what the fuck?
I think I went back and I rewinded it and I watched it again just to make sure I wasn't going crazy, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, they definitely, it's just like a bunch of like red painted dicks on this fucking table.
Yeah, I would say
oh my God.
That one and the toilet one were my favorites.
Yeah,
those are the two good ones, I think.
I just
did
don't
you watch
like
the last one, the new one?
Yeah, the spring break one with Mr. Garrison.
I don't like the whole Mr. Garrison is Trump thing. I hope they don't go back to doing that. I wasn't a fan of that whole thing.
Well, the thing is that kind of sets them up to like if they're like clamoring for material for a season. But I mean, if they're only doing 6 episodes a season, why I feel like they wouldn't be hurting to do that. But you know, say Trump does get elected again and like crazy shit goes on, that's just going to be the current thing that like they can very easily translate that to South Park. So I think it's more or less they kind of got to that point of like, all right, last episode, what are we doing? They're like, shit, like, well, we kind of have to address the elephant in the room, you know?
Oh, man, I got so fed up with comedy when Trump was president by the end of the 4 years, just because everything nonstop was like Saturday Night Live. It was Trump impressions every week. You know, you can't even turn on Comedy Central. It's like the next episode of whatever the fuck is about Trump. And then South Park's doing like Mr. Garrison is Trump, which doesn't even make like any sense because he's a teacher from South Park. That's Trump. He's a gay dude from South Park that's a teacher that was trans. That's Trump now, and I don't know. I didn't like the whole story. Just didn't make sense to me. It wasn't funny. They're like, who can we make Trump so we don't actually have to have like a Trump character? And they made I don't know, man. I hope they don't go back to that. Hopefully that was just like a one-off thing.
I mean, I think it makes sense, but I like the way they kind of structured it with like the way he's kind of relapsing back into doing rallies. So like he just goes to his own store, like the MAGA store, And he just starts yelling about immigrants and like talking about liberals and all this other shit. And it's just like, man, that's how it is, dude. You know, that's we can go to places within our own country that places like that exist and people like that exist. And I mean, it's just it's kind of crazy, but it is what it is, dude.
I guess so. I just don't think it's that funny, I guess. What I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sucks when they have to make it political, because I think you and me are both in the same boat where we don't appreciate where we appreciate deliberate politicalism or whatever the word is, but don't make your whole debate and don't make your whole like argument about politics, because that's not the point. Yeah,
make fun of everybody. The South Park's always done that, which they do. Yeah. They do still, but you know, I don't want to be like South Park shouldn't be shitting on Trump. Like, I think they're better than that every episode. Yeah, you know? But whatever. Yeah,
you remember? So growing up, like when Wikipedia came out and all our teachers would say, you know, you can look up sources and do this and that, but don't use Wikipedia as your main source. Do you remember that conversation growing up?
Yeah, because Wikipedia can be altered by people, so it's not a legitimate source, not allowed in school type thing. Yeah.
So that was us, you know, 20 years ago. So now ChatGPT, and I mean the same thing with the whole South Park thing of people using ChatGPT to write essays and shit. Like, do you think that's the modern day Wikipedia? You know, like, oh, don't use Wikipedia. And now it's like, I feel like it's almost encouraged to be like, go on Wikipedia, look at the sources on the bottom, use that as your starting point. Whereas now it's like, all right, well, these are the 3 topics that I need my essay. I want you to write the essay, and I'll just reword it a little bit because
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've never asked ChatGPT to show its sources when it comes up with answers. But I don't know. I mean, I know that there is probably not allowed in school. I mean, you can use it to cheat. Obviously, it can come up with anything. But it definitely, like we talked about before, it definitely is bias. It definitely isn't necessarily all facts. It does have a narrative of some sort behind there. Especially ChatGPT 4, because the one that we're using, or the one that I've used, is only the one before, the one that just barely came out. But ChatGPT 4 just came out. I haven't tried it out yet, but apparently that one is like indistinguishable from another human on the other side. So,
Jesus.
Yeah, it just keeps building on itself. And it's hard to know. I mean, it's not alive, right? But if we keep doing that, when will it be? I don't know. It's kind of scary. I'm hoping that nobody's in there, but some Black Mirror shit, man. I don't know. I think it's so much different. I think it's such a revolutionary technology, the way it works. I don't think it's even in the same ballpark as like a Wikipedia or Google or anything. So I don't know. Obviously, you can't use it in school, but I wouldn't compare it to Wikipedia, you know?
No, but I think just comparing it as like that's probably one of the biggest like informational advancements, you know? Yeah. I mean, for us, it was like the internet. That's the big one. And then I wouldn't put the creation of Wikipedia in the same category as the internet, but I mean, Google was another step. And
right.
I mean, I would say, I remember in elementary school, they showed us how to use Ask Jeeves in the library.
Ask Jeeves.
Do you remember using that back in the day? What do you think Ask Jeeves is doing nowadays?
Oh, dude.
You think it's like a campsite for poor people?
I wonder if it still exists. I wonder, does Ask Jeeves still exist? If you go to, was it askjeeves.com, right?
I think so.
I always thought it was Jeeves. Isn't that funny? I thought it was Jeeves for the first couple of years because it's spelled like, and I didn't know. I was a kid. I thought it was Ask Jeeves. Like, it rhymes with Beavis.
Yeah. Because it was VES, right?
Yeah, I think it was JEEVES. I thought it was Jeeves.
Oh, you know what it is now? It's ask.com.
Oh, they took Jeeves.
I just typed in askjeeves.com and it went to ask.com.
Okay, is it still a search engine?
Kind of. It looks almost there's stuff about lifestyle, culture, TVs and movies, culture. There's ads on here. It looks like when you swipe the left on your phone, like at the home screen, you get all that bullshit. It's basically like that.
You know what I'm afraid of, dude? I think that because OpenAI pushed out ChatGPT to the public, I think too early, it forced all these other companies like Google and Bing to release their AI chatbots too. And now everybody's pushing like this AI technology out into the world. And I think we haven't learned anything from the internet or social media in general. And I think we should put a 6-month pause on all this shit and figure out legislation, rules. You know, technology moves way faster than legislation. So I think we're pushing this shit too fast. I think there's going to be severe consequences. The same thing with social media, you know, where we're going to be like trying to play catch up in 5 years when shit hits the fan. Like, fuck, what do we do now? I think we should have learned from social media and actually take our time releasing this shit. But
it's wild that you say that because just at work, Thursday or Friday, I had an email from Emma. So where I work, there's the parent company. So the parent company sent out an email to everybody, which is like tens of thousands of people. And it was all about ChatGPT. And it's basically like, we will not allow our systems to run ChatGPT. There's no value behind it. There's a chance for hacking and all this and that. And basically, like, my company came out and said, do not use ChatGPT. We will we'll flag your access and all this and that. And I'm thinking, it's like, Jesus, dude, like, is that where we're at? Like, I'm on YouTube. I mean, probably 80% of the day I have a YouTube tab open. That doesn't mean I'm watching YouTube or listening to it, but I have it open on my computer.
Right. Yeah.
And it kind of makes me wonder, like, man, if they're just watching ChatGPT, I wonder if they've noticed that I've watched thousands of YouTube videos like at work, but I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, whatever. I'm sure they're tracking that stuff, but luckily as part of your job, you make videos. So, I mean, you have that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I've done it on my lunch looking for overlays for projector stuff and I mean, tutorials. Whatever. And I mean, even I type in YouTube just to see like how to do something in Excel. You know, there's YouTube is such like not volatile.
Easy access, baby. I know what you're saying. You can
easy
use
access,
it for
but it's very, very easy to use. Yeah.
Yeah. User friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Google with videos. I mean, it's the same company. So yeah. Yeah, but we got to put a whole that security thing is a major concern. Like, dude, people, you know, the reCAPTCHA, make sure you're not a robot technology. Like, click the fucking traffic lights in the boxes, and half the time you can't tell which box it's in. It's like, Jesus. But dude, I mean, AI can tell what a traffic light is. So I mean, that's going to be out the window. So the whole "are you a robot" thing is going to be gone. You know, and then how do we? I'm getting pretty freaking annoyed of every time I want to buy something or do something, I have to get a code sent to my phone. Like, what the fuck is that about? Oh yeah, dude? There's always two-factor authentication now. Too much hacking, dude. Too many bots.
It's pretty fucking annoying. Like, can I just take a picture of my face and then just like make it like so the whole day I don't have to fucking get Home Depot codes emailed to me? Like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, it is for everything now. You're right. Yeah,
obnoxious, dude.
Yeah, log into Amazon. It's like two-factor authentication. Check your email. Fucking, you're scrolling through all your spam emails, and you're like, oh, there it is. It's fucking 412. Then you're trying to remember it. You go back, type it in. It's like you've messed something up. It's like, what the fuck? Just trying to buy some socks.
The thing is like we grew up on this, and like we know when it's a scam and all this other shit. So like I got a text the other day saying, like, confirm my personal information through my credit card or something. It said, here's the link. Click the link. And it's like, you're at caution for this or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. So I go on my computer and I go to the website. There's no notice. There's no nothing. So it's like, this is just asking me to click this link so I could put in my information so they could log in and you know, steal me out or whatever the word is. And it's like, I feel like if I was 50 and I didn't know that was a scam, I would have just clicked it. I would have logged in and be like, oh, okay. Well, maybe it's a nothing thing. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's a $10,000 charge on my credit card, you know?
Right. Yeah. Phishing texts.
It's even like when we were pulling up the whale, Emily used my phone and we went on Amazon just through like my Safari on my phone. And she's like, oh, well, it looks like you need to change your password. It looks like something's being hacked. And I'm like, you've had my phone for 30 seconds. Like, why are you getting this notification? I've never gotten it. And then the next day she goes, oh, did you change your password? I'm like, no. She's like, well, you got a notification. I'm like, well, that doesn't mean I need to change it. You know, just because I usually use Amazon through like other means of getting there. And it's like, I gave you my phone to log in and all of a sudden it's giving me shit. Like, I'm not going to take that freaking, I know, I'll take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Enter your old password and your new password real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't trust that shit.
But then you got all these old people that are getting scammed and shit, you know?
Yeah. Dude, what they're doing now is AI voice technology. They're having bots call old rich people and they take like the voice of their granddaughter off social media and create like a fake voice. Grandma, I need help. I'm being kidnapped. Send me $500. And it sounds just like the grandkid. And so grandma does it. And, you know,
I think my favorite shit with that was, I don't know if we're past this point now, but the whole, like you'd get like a call from your bank or a call from whatever. And they'd be like, You need to send us $500 in Amazon gift cards. And they would have like the most obnoxious reasoning for like, well, you can't do it through this, but like you're being monitored, and if you alert the police, we're gonna send SWAT to your house and all this shit. And meanwhile, you got 77-year-old Gam. Oh no! It's like, what are you doing, Gam?
Dude, I used to get calls. I don't know what I did. Accidentally signed up for something, or they got my info somehow. I used to get calls a few years ago, like once a week, from this guy named Ben Williams. But he was apparently he was a lawyer and I owed him $500 for something. But he couldn't even say Ben Williams. He would always say Ven Williams. He's like, Mr. Ellsworth, Ven Williams, you need to send me $500 or we will send police to your house. And it was always like the same guy. And I always would talk to him for like a couple minutes to try and get to the bottom of it. Like, dude, why you keep calling me? You know I'm not going to send you money. Like, I know you remember me. We just talked like last week. Well, he probably calls 1,000 people a day, but you know.
So this isn't or maybe it's a scam, I don't know. But like, I get weekly phone calls from New Hampshire fire department, police department. Like, oh, hey, Mr. Armbrecht, we'd like to ask you about this, or we'd like you to ask for funding. And I'm on the phone for 10 seconds, and like, I don't know if I need to be disrespectful to these people, because these people could save my life at the end of the day. But like, the last 3 times I've gotten these fucking voicemails, I'll be like, dude, you fuckers call me every week. It's so obnoxious. Knock it off. Take me off your list. And I hang up. And it's they still call me. But it's like, hey, Mr. Armbrecht, we'd like to talk to you about the Fire Department Association. I'm like, no. We had this conversation last week. Stop fucking calling me. It's like, dude,
no, that's not rude.
What is your deal?
What is is it even really the fire department? If it is, why are they soliciting? Why are they calling your number, your personal number? That's
asking
crazy.
for money or like survey information? I don't fucking know, dude. It just drives me up the goddamn wall.
Dude, I got a bunch during the past couple of years about people asking me to like for a poll for COVID. Like, hey, we're just calling people today and asking them if they got their latest booster shot, and it's just for a poll. And I'll be like, what? Why are you calling my fucking cell phone? Who are you?
You know, I know there's people out there that exist that like answer these calls and actually talk to these people on the phone. And the only reason I say that because my mom is one of them. And it's like, I remember in high school, like I'd be sitting in the kitchen and like the phone would ring, and she would look at the caller ID, be like, I wonder who this is. And she would do the whole like, hello? Oh yes, I do have 20 minutes. And she'd walk away, and it's like, oh Christ, dude. Like, come on. What are you doing?
Yeah. Rogan's got this old bit that's hilarious where he's like, according to survey, 90% of people think this, but he's like, but the problem with that is that's 90% of people that actually answer surveys. It's not like we're going to take people that answer surveys word for this. You know what I mean?
I mean, there are people that just sit in their living room on like disability, and they have no family and no friends, and they just sit there and basically kind of eat and watch TV. So, it's sometimes the highlight of their day when they get somebody to call them like, oh, I would love to talk to you for the next 2 hours. It's like,
here's my problem with Bernie Sanders. Tell you what. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Christ. Were you the one that sent me the that picture of the dude, the PS2 cheat code on the back of his tricep? Was that you or somebody else?
No, I sent you that. Yeah. It's an NBA player. He's got,
that was it infinite ammo or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that's kind of cool. That's I mean, obviously there's probably not that. There's stupid tattoos and there's cool tattoos. I consider that a cool tattoo. I think that's pretty neat.
I mean, yeah, that's cool.
I mean, to me, it makes more sense than getting an R1 square circle tattoo than getting something in Chinese. You know, to me, that makes no sense.
If you can't read Chinese, don't get a Chinese tattoo. It's pretty.
No.
I mean, you know, it's stupid. It was a big thing, dude. White people getting Chinese tattoos, Japanese symbols and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought they were getting like family on their arm, and it turned out to just be like a lunchbox or toilet or something.
I mean, even people that get like Latin phrases, I mean, that kind of makes sense. Like if you get like memento mori or something, and I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Latin's a dead language, and you can actually look it up and know what it means. But I mean, English at least derives from Latin, so it kind of makes sense, right?
I guess it wouldn't be the dumbest thing in the world if I got like a German word tattooed on me or something, because I do speak German and I am German, but I don't know.
I'm not going to
German? Get like, yeah.
What? How long have you spoken German?
Like elementary level German. Like
really?
Like if I woke up in Germany, I could get myself to like a police station. That's about it though.
You speak German.
Yeah, I can count to like 100.
I've known you for like fucking 16 years, and I just found out you know how to speak German. You can count to 100 in German?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah. But
How do
at
you say
20, you have to
25 in
go
German?
zwei und zunzig, and then he goes zwei und zunz eins, zwei und zunz two, deuce, or no, deuce is
Deuce.
zwei is two. I don't know. But the problem was I took German in 7th and 8th grade for the whole year, and then I went to PA, and then that wasn't an option, so I had to learn French. And then in college, I had to take a foreign language, so I signed up for German 1 because I was like, oh, I'll fucking breeze through this. And then I told the teacher that I had 2 years experience. She goes, oh, well, we should put you in German 3. I'm like, no. I'm not looking to learn anything. I'm looking to get an easy A and just get this fucking off my requirement list.
German.
So I took another German elementary semester in college. But the problem is those 2 years of French in high school really fucked me because I'd be sitting there and I'd write something down in German. Even though I'm in fucking French class, and it's like, God damn it, like I couldn't differentiate it, dude.
All I did was Spanish. I know that's there's some similarities for French and everything. Even English, there's some similarities, but did a little bit of Spanish. Hablo español muy poquito. That's all.
So how many years of Spanish have you taken, like your whole life then? Like, did you start in middle school or high school?
We took a couple years in middle school, but it was, just kid stuff like, gato is cat type shit.
And then somebody
manzana.
Googles how to say penis or something, and everybody's saying that in the back of the room.
¿Te gusta el pene en su culo? Yeah. Yeah, we always just looked up how to say like boobs and penis. Bobos, pene.
I remember I showed up in 8th grade with a Rammstein CD, and we put it in, and we were listening to it, and we put on Du Hast.
Yeah.
And she goes, she's like, all right, well, I'll translate it. And then the teacher's translating it, and then like when it gets to the like actual first verse, she goes, all right, we're not going to listen to this anymore because like it's like not appropriate for school. But she goes, all right, you hate me. And then she goes, nope, not going to. No, she's like, nope, we're done. she took it out of the CD player. I was
It's
like,
not even that bad.
I was like, whatever, dude.
Whatever, fucking teacher lady. I told that
Frau
teaching lady.
Frau Marcotte. Yep, I remember you.
That's a good song.
Or no, was Frau French?
Wait, what?
I don't even fucking remember, dude. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about French or German. I'm the wrong man to ask.
Frau Hairline, was that a thing? I don't know. I think Frau is German. I don't know. Yo, so how are we gonna make this a little bit more creamy towards the end, J-Man? How are we gonna end on a creamy note?
That's interesting. Not sure. I feel like it was a relatively creamy episode.
I feel like we're just dropping facts by this point, dude.
if the creamers made it this long, they're real fans because I think most people listen to the first 30 minutes. I think that's true for all podcasts, not just ours. But
yeah.
Let's see. Have you heard of digital blackface? It's a new thing.
No. Digital blackface.
Yeah, so if you like are white and post the Michael Jordan crying meme, it's digital blackface. You're not allowed to do that anymore.
Oh, I thought that was like you had a picture and you could swipe a filter so you have blackface. That's not nearly as exciting. You just built me up so high and then you threw me in the pool like a dick dad.
Have you heard what else is on my mind? Have you heard the T-Pain War Pigs cover?
No, that's a thing?
Dude, it's actually not bad.
Oh, shit.
It's not as good as the original. I mean, it's not as rock and roll. Like the guitars are kind of muffled. I mean, I don't even know if they're guitars. They're probably just synths. But yeah, T-Pain came out with a cover album like a week ago. It's all covers of songs. And it's called, what is it called? On Top of the Covers or something like that. It's a new 2023 album and he covers the song War Pigs in it.
That's pretty
You know
dope,
what's
actually.
crazy? He's got a fucking great voice because a lot of the songs, I mean, obviously there's vocal correction, like pitch correction, but you could tell it's not like heavy autotune effect, like his classic T-Pain autotune. But he's got a great voice without autotune anyways. But he sounds kind of like Ozzy Osbourne, like on steroids in the song. You should check it out.
I'm probably going to pull it up on Spotify after this pod and jam out in my basement, dude.
It's not like a wild guitar rock and roll song, but his voice does sound good in it. It's like, damn, you could actually see how T-Pain would be good on a rock song. You know what I mean?
Well, shit, man. I'll check it out.
Yeah. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, nostalgic shit. Teachers wheeling in TVs in school with
the VCRs and shit.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that's pretty much all I had, and maybe ancient apocalypse stuff. But we're just I'm just shooting topics out of my ass right now.
Yeah,
But,
my list this week was quite beefy just because of I wanted to talk about each of the South Park episodes. That took a good 5 minutes. So
Yeah. No, it was good. We were in Lowe's the other day, and we were looking for some stuff. Lita wanted to repot some of the plants, and this guy pops out of nowhere with answers. And he's just like, hey, yeah, you want this, you want that. And he kind of explains stuff to us. We're like, cool. And then like we're on the other side of the store. And I'm like, what type of grass do we have? Is it, he pops out of nowhere, the same guy. Whoop. Comes around the corner. Whoa, does your grass go dormant in the winter? I'm like, what the hell? Where'd this guy come from? It's like the ghost of Lowe's just popping up out of nowhere, just helping us out. He did like 3 times. It's fucking crazy.
yeah,
He was a good employee. You could tell he was good too. He had a big fucking fat dollop of dip right under his lip there. Fucking, he was like talking like this. Well, you need help over here. Yeah, it's crazy.
God bless you, sir.
Yeah, I've got a sweaty nutsack lately too. Been sticking to the old legs. I gotta figure that out. I used to use Gold Bond, and I got the extra strength, like the stuff that comes in a green tub.
Okay.
And but the thing is, I would get out of the shower, my nuts would be really wet, and then I put the green Gold Bond on my nuts, and it was great. I'm like, lube and deals down there. I'll slip and slide, and no bag of Titus. My dad used to call it ball bag of Titus when your nuts stick to your legs. So no bag of Titus. And then by the time I get in my car, the extra strength Gold Bond would like seep into my skin, and my nuts would be on fire. It would be like the worst pain I ever had in my life. And I'd have to sit there in agony in my driveway, just going, oh, for like a solid 5 minutes. And then it would go away. But I haven't used Gold Bond in a while, but I might have to look into something, a similar solution. But I don't want to get cervical cancer, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's like the middle school thing. Like back when we used to put the little icy hot patches on our ball bags, and then we'd churn the butter and see if we can get done before the pain was too bad. Like it's all the same kind of thing, Yeah,
I didn't do that, but the icy hot put an icy hot.
We'll save it for next. We'll save it for next week. We got to wrap this up.
All right, we'll wrap it up then, folks. I try to make it as creamy as possible in that short little 5-minute span, but
You did a good job.
all right, thanks. See you next week, folks.
Stay creamy.